I've been writing, and I'm going to begin speaking about something I've been thinking about for the past few months, because I think it could be a good thing. A question, though, has given me a long pause before taking on this project. Why? Not only why do this specifically, but also more generally, why do anything ever? The following are my thoughts on this question. One can take up the project, the challenge of not doing anything. If you try it, if you seriously commit to sitting or lying down and just being without action, what you tend to find is the experience of compulsion, ultimately to satisfy a basic need like thirst, often sooner to simply fidget for some stimulation. With some effort, one can forgo satisfying these impulses for a time. But then thoughts come. It is difficult to maintain introspective intention, to be master in one's own mind for long. We are sensitive, we get distracted, we think. This seems a feature of consciousness most of the time. Thoughts too, though, with practice, can become something simply witnessed. Those who meditate are familiar with this. But still, following willed inaction, following mindfulness, given enough time, there is pain. Pain is inevitable at the end of this series. It seems that this stuff that we are, these bodies of skeletons and muscles which digest, regulate hormones, brains which are neuroplastic, this stuff demands movement and information and will fight against our metacognitive experiments to get it. To try to do truly nothing seems against our body's nature. A partial answer, then, to the question, why do anything ever, is we must do something. Given that it is our condition to engage with the world, the question seems to follow, what should we do? Does action itself demand justification, or only certain specific actions? It seems obvious that some actions are inherently more good than others. For example, to assuage hunger, it is generally better to purchase or to cook food than to steal it. I do not mean to say that right and wrong actions are as simple and as opposite as black and white, though. There are, of course, grays in this picture. The character Jean Valjean and his backstory come to mind. In general, though, how do we evaluate between doing and not doing particular things? More generally, how do we evaluate between doing or not doing a particular thing for a particular amount of time over any other possibility, any other action which we could conceivably take for any amount of time? Why do anything ever? In one sense, considering this question seriously presents a super task. We are not capable of interpreting, evaluating the infinite set of information describing all possible futures. Instead, most of the time, we pay attention to what seems to matter, and we act. This is the core of what I am particularly interested in right now. The following are questions I will explore. How do people develop in such a way as to pay attention? Why do we attune to particular types of information? What drives attention at a particular moment to a particular thing? By extension, what substantiates deeply held beliefs over a lifetime? What information do we grant the highest award? Categorization as truth. What are the connections between attention, justified belief, these internal experiences, with action in the world, the animation which links the subject and the interpreted? There is a sense that a belief is a claim about reality. It is an expectation about the likelihood of future states. There is then a necessary link between belief and action. We are called to action first by fundamental biological needs. Before we learn, we have instincts, which manifest themselves into behaviors. For example, for infants, crying is an instinctual behavior which reliably elicits care from a caretaker. Notably, crying is a reflection of a temporally local need, an immediate need, a feeling, in this case. Over time, we grow and we learn, our brains develop, and we find that we are capable of considering ourselves into the future. With base biological needs fulfilled, we are then empowered with the agency to prepare for our futures. How to not starve tomorrow is a better problem to have than how to not starve in the present moment, because in the prior, there is more time to address the issue. The fundamental need to eat to survive abstracts across time. One must continue to eat to continue to survive. We learn which actions make the feeling of hunger go away, and to distinguish these actions from those which really have no bearing on the matter. For example, picking up and eating a fruit as pertaining to hunger is fundamentally different, more relevant than, say, kicking rocks or looking at clouds. The latter are significantly less likely to be associated to the abatement of hunger. They don't do that. More than this, we like the way foods with certain nutrient profiles taste. And though this is not without exception, we are often disgusted by the thought of eating that which might make us sick. This seems to be an advantageous evolved feature. So, we can see a developmental pathway here. We cry for food, we consume what is provided. Eventually, we work to provide for ourselves and others. This evolution of behavior is the reflection of personal growth from action based on instincts to learned responsive action to self-concept to action based on intention. We act because it is our condition. Our bodies must engage with the world. We learn the reliable outcomes associated with our actions. We make predictions about the impact of our actions on the future. With these, we set expectations for ourselves and others. We form beliefs. A better answer, then, to the question, why do anything ever, is roughly that why is not the best question. The better question is, what is there to do? In the moment we determine what to do, we answer why. Learn to identify which actions solve more problems over longer time spans. Do those. I have decided to accept this analysis for now and to start doing what has caught my attention for a while. I'm going to write and to speak about what I find interesting. Information, belief, action, personal development, goodness, truth, and the ways these are associated. I will do this in a way that seems like it has the possibility to make my life better. I hope that eventually this will turn into a dialogue. What use are ideas unreflected, unsynthesized, unaccepted, and unrejected? Having conversation with others is to bad ideas as eating is to hunger. It seems to be a feature of dialogue, especially that which is humble and open to new ideas, that it is capable of improving shared predictions of the future. By our reflections in others and in the world, we modify belief and thus future action. Try being intentional that what you say and what you do is aimed at making your life better. See what happens.